think we need to have a talk about my inability to just not. Because I could just not film this video at 12 a.m. or I could at least have a better reason to film this video at 12 a.m. But no, I just want to finish my mocha frappe. But same goes for my book buying. I feel like I just have bad decision-making skills because I have no reason to own all these books. I don't know who I think I am. I'm an intern. I make an hour. So why do I keep buying books? I'm literally trying to move at the end of the year to a big expensive city. It makes no sense that I'm here about to show you the 21 books that I've bought. Not that much because, I don't know, it's been like 3 months since my last book haul, so I would say that it's not that bad, but there have been other purchases in between. There's no excuses. I spend too much money. Anyway, I have 21 books to show you. Maybe 20. I don't know. Last time I got the count completely wrong, I think. I think I said I had 17 and it ended up being like 19. Don't fact check me. Don't go back and watch. Let's just get on with this video. So hi, it's Jayla. I'm filming a book haul today and I forgot that I should probably introduce myself before getting into it. I'll just go through each pile of books that I got from each location. So some of them are secondhand, some of them are from Book of the Month. Second and Charles is one of my near-ish by secondhand bookstores. I go there to sell books sometimes and obviously buy books. And from there, I got 4 graphic novels on my most recent visit. We got Pumpkinheads by Rimbaud Roel, and this is a cute contemporary story about these 2 best friends who are spending their last night working at a pumpkin patch together, and they're very scared that they won't ever really talk to each other again because once the pumpkin patch is over, like, they don't have anything, and so they're just trying to make the most of this night. Cuteness ensues. They're a really cute friendship, and I just love both the characters. Oh, I read this, by the way, so woo! I've read one of them. I've read like at least 5 of the books in this haul, so yay to me. Then I got Fun Home by Alison Bechtel, which is a very popular graphic memoir that I've heard so much about. Everyone says it's so well written and really, like, I don't know, I don't have another adjective to describe it, but everyone says it's really good. It's a family tragicomic by its own labeling, and I've never read a graphic memoir before, so I'm very excited to get this in my belly. What am I talking about? Then I picked this one up just because I love the cover of it. This cover is beautiful. I love the pinks and the purples, and I just love all the characters that are displayed on the front. They just look amazing. But now for what's inside, I'll just read you the synopsis really quickly. This is a social thriller about sex, love, and torture. In a draconian America where sexuality is strictly bureaucratized and policed, a group of queer sex workers keep the magic alive in an underground club called the Dirty Mind. Using their unique talents for bondage and seduction, they resolve to infiltrate the mysterious government pleasure center, free their incarcerated friends, and fight the power. So it sounds pretty awesome, and I'm very excited to read this. I don't think I need to say much. You would be enticed by this too, I hope. Then I have Volume 1 of Wolf, which is just another series that I decided to give a try. I've not heard anything about it before, but I liked the cover, and from what I know, it's about this detective. Yeah, he's a detective, and he's trying to help an orphaned teenage girl. He's like kind of responsible for her, keeping her safe. She might be the key to the impending apocalypse, so that's interesting. Then we have my Book of the Month subscription, all the things that came in that, which I got for September 3 books because I have no self-control, but hi, we knew this already. And one of them was Pyrenees. Okay, so it has been like a time. So I was filming the last 4 books that I talked about, but I wasn't filming it because storage, and then I thought I didn't know it was a storage issue because Okay. What was I saying? So I had filmed myself talking about 4 books, and then, I don't know, I just had a feeling that I should go check on my camera because I get that feeling sometimes, and I've been having some issues, only to find that it hadn't recorded me talking about those last 4 books. And so then I was like, oh man, that sucks. I guess I'll just film it again. Yeah, and so now I have filmed that segment twice now, and I will now film it a 3rd time after I have just spent an hour just deleting things and taking a walk down memory lane. So choices were made, and I haven't even finished this, so choices were made. So anyway, I left off when I was telling you about Pregnancy, which for the 3rd time I will explain the premise. All I know is that it's about this guy who is living inside of this house that's kind of like a labyrinth. It's got lots of rooms, they open up in different places, it's very mysterious, very complex. He's like the caretaker of the house or some sort of keeper or something like that. And then one day a stranger appears and things get flipped on their head, and that's all I know about this book. I don't need to know more. I just like this cover. I bought this because of the cover. I'm not afraid to admit that. Then I talked about Luster by Raven Leilani, which is a book about this girl named Edie who's in her 20s. She's like an artist, but she's working some admin job that she's not really passionate about. She's prone to making really inappropriate choices when it comes to her sex life, and she ends up losing her job, and she moves in with this guy who she's been seeing who's in an open marriage. And it's basically about her kind of just living with this family, and I'm assuming it's a real weird, awkward predicament, and that's kind of what the story follows. I've seen lots of mixed reviews about it all over the place. Some people either they really, really love it or they really, really hate it, and so I want to know where I fall on that spectrum. And I do wonder, I read Queenie by Candace Carty-Williams earlier this year, and I had a lot of mixed feelings about it, but I did enjoy it overall. But I feel like it's going to give me those same vibes because it's kind of along similar lines about making just, you know, not the best choices about your life and just being in your 20s kind of stuck in this one place. And so, I don't know, hopefully I like this one a lot more, but I've heard the writing is phenomenal, so we'll see. And now I have to check my camera every 2 seconds because I'm paranoid that it stopped filming, so BRB. Then I have the last story of Mina Lee, which is the story of this girl named Margot and her mother, Mina, and they have this like weird relationship. I'll just read you the thing. A poignant mother-daughter story and surprising mystery, The Last Story of Mina Lee is a profound debut novel that illustrates the devastating realities of being an immigrant in America. And so this story takes place basically in the present with Margot, who's a daughter, and in the past with Mina, and it explores Mina's coming to America, her immigrant experience, and everything leading up to where she is now, which, spoiler alert, but not actually because it's in the synopsis, she's actually dead, I think, by the beginning of the story. But I'm also really, really into stories about mother-daughter relationships, like stories such as Lady Bird, that movie. I really love that movie. And then the mother-daughter aspect in Little Houses, and that's not what it's called, Little Fires Everywhere, and by Celeste Ng. I really love that. So that's one of my favorite topics just in stories in general. So I think I'm really gonna like this. I feel it's gonna be really sad, but also really eye-opening, and so I'm excited to read it. My next book is all the way over there, and I have to get up to go get it. So for my October box, I got Beach Read by Emily Henry, and I don't know. What do I look like getting Beach Read in October? It's a weird choice. I really wasn't into the October books this month, and last month, and I just did not want any of them, so I went with a member favorite, which was Beach Reads. I don't regret it, but I have thoughts that I'm not going to read this until 7 months from now, so I'm like, why did I get this? I don't know, I'm not opposed to reading this during the fall, but I just feel like I shouldn't, so we'll see if I end up doing it, but I most likely will end up reading this in like July or something. This story is about a girl who is like a writer, and she's written like a romance bestseller, and she's kind of stuck as far as her next novel, and so she goes away to a beach house that one of her relatives owns so that she can just crank out a story. She ends up being neighbors with this guy she knew from her past. I think they used to date or something like that, and he's also trying to write his novel, and they're both just stuck, and so they make a deal to write each other's books. And romance ensues, I guess. It sounds like a really cute, fun story, and whenever I eventually get to it, I'm sure I will enjoy it. It's finally time to move on to a different book. I can talk about something else now. The next few books I ended up getting from thriftbooks.com, one of them being House of Leaves by Mark D. Danielewski. It's quite the last name there. I really can't tell you what this is about. I got recommended this on a someone commented on my Instagram, and they were like, you'll really like this if you want something scary. And apparently this is a very spooky, weird read. And you know what? I can tell. I can tell. And if you can't tell, sorry, because I'm not doing extra to help you see this. I don't know how to read this book. It is formatted so strangely that it's just confusing. I'm sure once I pick it up and understand things more, I'll be able to do it, but I'm scared to pick it up. So I don't regret buying it because I am interested in reading the story, but I don't know how to read it. Then I got 2 Sean David Hutchinson books. I'm a really big fan of Sean David Hutchinson. I've read 2 of his books before this, We Are the Ants and The Edge of the Universe, I think it was called, and I really love them. This one is The Past and Other Things That Should Remain Buried, and this one is The Apocalypse of Elena Mendoza. One of them is about this guy named Dino whose best friend ends up coming back from the dead, and I guess they just have to hash out some, you know, little things that they didn't get squashed before he died. And then the other one is about this girl named Elena Mendoza who finds out that she has like healing abilities and stuff, and the world is going chaotic and crazy. So a lot of weird stuff is happening, including her finding out that she has powers, and it's just about her, you know, getting through that. So these were bad synopses, but I've been doing this for a while, you guys. I'm tired. I know Sean David Hutchinson is kind of like, he's in iffy territory right now because he wrote that book, The State of Us, which I really did want to read until everyone started saying how he kind of just excused like conservative hatred of like people of color or like sexuality minorities. What? I think it was something about that, like excusing racism or just excusing some problematic point of view and not really having a conversation about it, just accepting it because we need to accept other people's opinions and beliefs. So yeah, I kind of still want to read it just to see what everyone's talking about, but I also don't want to give my money to that because no. The next books I ended up getting were from the Book Depository. So one of them, all of them, I don't know. One of them being The Haunting of Tramcar 15 by Peter Jelly Clark, which I've already talked about in my wrap-up for October because I read this recently. This is about a detective duo who are trying to solve the haunting of Tramcar 15. It's a real fun story, and I'm not going to say much more. If you want to know more, go watch my wrap-up. But I will say that I am really, really interested in reading more Peter Jelly Clark stories. In fact, I will just go ahead and include in this little segment that I also got Ring Shout in this time span. So, yeah. This is a mess. I'm so sorry. Woo! Ring Shout is about this group of women who are trying to take down the KKK, or more specifically the Ku Kluxes in the KKK, who are demons that are hiding inside the like club, this is not a club, this terrorist group, who are trying to like feed off of the KKK's hatred and just take over the world in that kind of way. More Book Depository orders were I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid, which is about this girlfriend who goes on a trip with her boyfriend to visit his parents for the weekend, or like for a quick trip. It's a very short quick trip. I've read this already too. I don't know, it gets weird. I also talked about this in my wrap-up, so please feel free to go watch that, but I liked it. This is not a review, this is just saying what I bought. I bought it. I also got Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert, and I'm really excited to read this. I read Get a Life, Chloe Brown in September, and it was the perfect, just most cutest read. I really enjoyed it, and so I was very, very excited to get the next one and just devour it, which I have, and I've already had this for a month, so I'll get to it eventually, hopefully. It's this fake dating relationship, and I'm a sucker for a fake dating relationship, so I'm excited to read this one and just fall in love with another brown sister. Finally, from Book Depository, I got Monstrous Volume 5, and I don't know what to say because I can't tell you much about this story without spoiling everything because this is volume 5. It's a really good series and you should check it out. The rest of these books are just books that I've like picked up here and there, so I usually bought them one at a time. This one is Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. I don't know too much about this, and I definitely did not have the right idea when I went into buying this, but it sounds so interesting. Corey Fields is dead. When Enchanted Jones wakes with blood on her hands and zero memory of the previous night, no one, the police and Corey's fans included, has more questions than she does. All she really knows is that this isn't how things are supposed to be. This is going to be a really powerful read. I've heard so many good things about this. I think it has to deal with kind of grooming, trigger warning for like child sexual abuse and things like that. But it's definitely going to focus on how this older man is taking advantage of this younger girl who has her own dreams and aspirations. Another heavy topic is This Is My America by Kim Johnson. This is about a 17-year-old girl named Tracy Beaumont, and her father is in prison, and I think he's on death row, and she's trying to prove his innocence and prove that he did not commit the crime that everyone is charging him with. Then her brother ends up also being charged with something, and so she's just trying to fight against this system that is perpetually putting black men down. And I just really love what's on the back, so I'm going to read that to you. It says, "They look at my father and think murderer. They look at my brother and think thug. They look at me and think I'll be quiet. They are wrong." Also, can we just talk about how gorgeous this book is? Because it is gorgeous. And I kind of want to do a cover recreation of this, but ooh, those are some intricate braids and I don't have that kind of skill. Then I have Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. This is about a boy named Yadriel who is trans, and he is trying to prove to his family that his gender is valid and like they want them to accept him basically. And so he tries to do this ritual on his own to help prove that he's a brujo. And so many people have been saying how this book makes them cry. It's so good, it's so great. So yeah, I'm ready to see for myself just how great it is. And then another book I got was An Arc of Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth, which I have talked about a couple times on this channel, so I don't really need to say too much. But yeah, this was a really interesting story. I would say go ahead and try it out, although I didn't fully enjoy it that much. Okay, so these are all the books. If you stuck around to the end of this hot mess of a video, I appreciate you. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great night. You can follow me on Instagram at LalaLovesLit or be my friend on Goodreads. Links are in the description for more information. Let me know if you've read any of these books, or just tell me how I can stop buying books because I don't need them. My TBR shelf is completely full, and like I said, I'm trying to move, so I can't take all this with me. Anyway, I'll see you guys in another video. Ciao!